be a huge foul. The storm's going down. Not as much damage they need to. Dimaga should be thrown out as well. My computer's not
He's
ready
still
to
around,
explode.
by the way.
Dragon's in the game. He's still here. He's got 4 Marines with him. And there's another one called in, and it's going to get Neural as well. Instantly shot down. That Barrier not doing a huge amount there, but it's going to be obliterated in the process. And
Looks like the Ravens trying to understand, actually pointed out the point defense drones. Battle cruisers throwing down the Dimaga cannons, but here come the Vipers.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello from the MLG studios and welcome back to Heart of the Swarm exhibition. Today is Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. I did a terrible weekend because I didn't get to broadcast StarCraft 2, but thankfully it's Monday.
That's right, which means we get to broadcast StarCraft 2 right now, and for next 4 days straight.
Ooh.
Every day of the week, MLG bringing Heart of the Swarm action to you at 5 p.m. Eastern Time.
5 p.m. Eastern every single day, Mondays and Fridays. We got King of the Hill going on. Tomorrow is one of my favorite days where we go through arcade games in Heart of the Swarm, trying to get some exposure to that scene, trying to have a little bit of fun at the same time, and trying to get some interaction with the community, of course. Every single one of you is welcome to join us, channel MLG, each and every day. Mostly Tuesdays, though, is the community thing, not to be discriminatory to anyone, but I don't want anyone bad in the King of the Hill. Not that you're bad, but compared to the guys we're about to see, you're pretty bad. I'm bad too. I'm just going to put that out there. But yeah, tomorrow's going to be arcade. That being said, if you have like a suggestion of an arcade game that's awesome, right now I've written down Blood Marathon, Magecraft, Click War, Star Strikers, and Partycraft. If you have anything more that you think would be fun to play, let me know. Tweet at me at axeltoss, and we'll see if we can make it happen. That being said, today, King of the Hill action. Crank is currently on an 8-game winning streak, but he's having some computer issues. He had like a Reddit thread that got to the top of our StarCraft, which is awesome yesterday, displaying an issue that he had, trying to get some help. So I think he's been working on that. So we have 2 new players going to be jumping into the fray. We're going to have Dimaga, who played in a show match against Polt last week, and Shew, whose birthday it is.
That's right.
So happy
just
birthday
turned
to him.
20.
Yeah. Pretty talented.
Skillful young Protoss gentleman.
He was, I remember he really got his story out there based on a performance in an MLG where he was the highest performing player that was not on a pro team.
That's right.
But now he's on Clarity Gaming, who just opened up a pro house here in New York. Or New Jersey?
Well, New York. It's by the Hamptons, kind of like further on Long Island somewhere.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, New York State.
New York State. So somewhere around actually this area. So that's really cool to see. Lots of good players, you know, participating there. Team houses, awesome. That being said, I'm going to ask if these players are ready so we can get started. And guys, be sure to join the conversation on Team Liquid on Reddit. I put a Reddit thread up there, and I put 5 beta keys in the Reddit thread. But I didn't like saying the title that I put them there, so only if you clicked on the comments would you be able to see. Yeah, would you be able to see the actual beta keys? So they might still be available. So head on over to r/StarCraft, you know, the StarCraft subreddit, and give that a view. Hopefully, one of those beta keys is still available. I think the Dimaga.
You ready?
Final confirmation. He said ready, but there's no timestamps in the lobby chat. Because we're 100% live right now. These players are in the lobby right now.
You know one thing while waiting for... Oh, looks like they're both ready.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think they are. So, you know one thing I've noticed? I was doing some unit testing.
Okay.
And I found something out. Hellbats, which I previously thought beat almost everything.
Yes.
I discovered they actually beat everything now.
Oh. What was the unit that you were kind of on the fence about?
So I thought, like, I knew they would beat Stalkers, right? Because Hellions are natural.
What numbers are we talking about here?
Almost
like four fire.
Anything cost efficient or cost equal.
Oh, okay.
So like 100, you know, it's a 1 to 1.75 ratio. Because Stalkers are almost twice as much as a Hellbat. Sure. But no, I knew they beat Stalkers. That was obvious. But I didn't know that Hellbats would actually beat Roaches pretty significantly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, were the Roaches kiting at all in this test?
No, this was a straight-up battle. So, yeah, I mean, same thing with Stalkers, right? Stalkers give you Hellbats kiting.
So you just moved them towards each other?
That's right. But in a mixed composition, if you had siege tanks behind it, kiting wouldn't help them at all.
The president wants to play.
Wow. Look at that.
He's going to have to wait. I put myself on busy because he messaged me.
You know, that's how important StarCraft is.
What if,
to
like,
us.
Obama's actually watching and just got mad at me saying that? All right, sorry. Continue. Well, let me introduce players, and then you can continue your point. The top left hand, we got the blue Protoss player, the birthday boy. He is Shew from Team Clarity Gaming. His opponent in the bottom right-hand location, it's Dimaga. He's currently teamless. Won a honeymoon. Both these guys have a lot of support on Reddit, now that I think about it. Because Dimaga won a honeymoon because our StarCraft came out and said, you know what, Dimaga, I want you to win a honeymoon. And then Shew, he posted a little thread today saying he was streaming and he wanted some birthday views. And hopefully, and he got to the top of our StarCraft, so hopefully he gets those birthday views, and I know hopefully this this King of the Hill can help that as well. But yeah, Hellbats, you know, talking about PvZ, beat everything.
Yeah, yes. Okay. So if you can jump into the world in Terran and get Hellbats,
yeah.
They do beat everything. As long as you can prevent, like you mentioned, you have to prevent them from kiting you.
Interesting.
So you have to, like, you have a siege tank or something, you know, that keeps pounding into them.
So what explains why we don't necessarily see them more?
So it's same reason, you know, Terrans are kind of, like, remember how long it took, like, LZ Gamer was beating all the Zergs with the 5Rex Reaper for, like, 3 months before, like, we ever really saw it take off. Like, the 1-on-1, which was actually even stronger earlier on, like, took, again, something like 6 months for people to really start using it, right?
Right.
It's just some of these things take a little while to, you know, saturate through the ranks because people do what they're comfortable with. They're comfortable making Marines and Marauders. So, like, you can introduce a new unit that's just like a Marine but twice as strong, and they won't actually make it just because they're not
comfortable
with it, right?
Yeah. And it doesn't necessarily, like, work into the build orders they've been doing for years.
Yes, exactly. I mean, they like to scout the factory.
Sure.
Landing it and making units out of it is
that's a
whole new
bizarre
idea.
concept to many. No, based on that thought, let's say when people finally realize that's a good unit, what kind of build order do you expect to see incorporating the powerfulness of the Hellbats?
Well, I mean, I think you can see a variety. You could see, like, Marauder Hellbat timings off 2 bases against Zerg are going to be really powerful. Or even just Hellbat Widowmine timings, perhaps. Well, I think you need Marauders or tanks so they can't kite you, like you mentioned. So, yeah, we could see, like, 2 base timings, or we could even see, like, versus Protoss, a late game oriented play.
Right.
Where when you add into Armory to get your 2/2 upgrades with your bio, you then just start reactoring Hellbats like a maniac, because now you have the Armory, you can build them.
Ooh.
In fact, you can even reactor out Hellions early on the game, anticipating when you get the Armory, you can turn them into Hellbats. And then you just do your same bio play, maybe less Marines, because you have the Hellbats, and there's more Marauders, less Marines, and then the minerals you save in the Marines, you spend that all on Hellbats. So things like that are going to be pretty strong.
Now, do you talk about Hellbats a lot in your show Rules of Engagement, which occurs every day at 7 p.m. Eastern on
I do.
twitch.tv/MLGSC2?
VODs
are available at youtube.com/official MLGSC2.
That's right. That's right. I don't get to talk about it quite as much as I'd like to because I take a look at pretty much the pro replays. And as you mentioned, the pros haven't used him too much. But I have my eyes out. As soon as I haven't seen him lose yet. So as soon as I see them win a few more games and get a couple good replays.
So people can submit their awesome Hellbat usage to...
That's right.
MajorLeagueGaming.com/submit?
/replays. So if you're out there and you have an awesome Hellion Hellbat game or awesome anything game, Heart of the Swarm?
Yeah.
Go to
you've made the switch.
That is correct.
Axslav has made the switch from Wings of Liberty to Heart of the Swarm in this show, Rules of Engagement. Awesome. So, speaking of Heart of the Swarm, let's talk about this game a little bit. We got a PvZ between Shew and Dimaga, of course. The map is Akalon Waste. We got 3 hatcheries up from Dimaga here. Nothing but drones in that production tab. So just getting some early lings for controlling the watchtowers. A lot of watchtowers on this map. If you can control them, you are going to have a very nice advantage because you can see so much more of the map than your opponent. Of course, if you control them, and he doesn't. Meanwhile, we have Shew sticking to Wings of Liberty stuff. Nothing out of the ordinary just yet. Adding on 3 additional gateways here, and he's chrono boosting his core, and he's getting +1. This looks like some sort of 4-gate pressure type build. With the mothership involved, I think that could be very strong.
You know what's really cool?
What's really cool?
I was talking to Shew earlier, and I asked him if he had any replays for me to go over. Oh. And this is an exact build that I saw him use against Sen that I'm actually going to go over tonight on Rules of Engagement.
Wow. So I'm afraid to spoil it by analyzing it too much.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. There's so many layers to StarCraft. You can spend almost 3 hours on any individual game, I think.
So are you making the switch from 1 hour to 3 hours for Rules of Engagement?
That may come in the future.
All right. I'm looking forward to that. I'll keep you honest about that. But here comes the mothership core across the map, taking down a Ling. We also have a Zealot swinging around the right-hand side, and a Pro building a pylon very close to his opponent's 3rd base. What a great location there. Of course, he can warp in on the low ground, and look at that. Immediately 4 Zealots warped into Dimaga. Doesn't have nearly enough to deal with this right now.
He's got 6 roaches on the way, so I mean, he'll eventually clear this out. The question is how much damage will he take before those roaches pop? The mothership core is so instrumental in this attack.
Yeah. And there's not much that can shoot up here besides the Queen, so what's going to actually deal with this mothership core? We have, its shields are gone, but the Queens are dealing with the Zealots at this point. More Zealots going to be warped in here. Looks like Dimaga's eventually going to hold stuff. There's a nice time warp. from the Mothership Core, slowing down those roaches, and the DPS of the Zealots wailing away on the roaches because they can't kite as effectively with that Time Warp on them. So nice little play there from Shew.
Yeah, it was a kind of a cute idea, you know. The whole idea is I think he tries to hope he can kill the queens with the Zealots.
Yeah.
And then even if roaches are out, he can take out a couple drones. Unfortunately, Dimaga showing, you know, why he's such a world-class player. Great micro on his part to keep those queens alive throughout that engagement.
And I love how it's a little bit easier to defend this pylon, because the queens, in order to deal with this Mothership Core, have to march all the way up this ramp, so the Mothership Core can just stay a little bit further back and take down these roaches, which can shoot up, or at least soften them up a little bit. So nice play here with the Mothership Core so far in this game. Meanwhile, Shew did place down a Stargate behind this. He's starting to produce oracles. I'm not sure if Shew has, or if Dimaga, excuse me, has scouted this out. No, he hasn't. So I'll have to see if Dimaga is going to be able to put down the necessary static defenses to deal with these oracles, or get Burrow at the very least, since it's hatch tech now. But I don't see Dimaga doing any such thing. He has some queens on the field, but oracles are pretty good against queens in a good amount, like 3 or 4.
That's a lot of the opening of this build. I mean, the opening, it kind of puts the Zerg in the mentality of I've got to watch out for gateway units. Then the air transition can kind of catch them off guard. It's even more effective if he gets a couple queen kills early. This game, Dimaga has enough queens, but you mentioned, I mean, this many oracles.
Yeah.
Those queens
and
are not
going to
stand a chance.
Okay, they've just now been seen by that Zergling at the Watchtower. How is Dimaga going to react? 2 Spore Crawlers immediately going down, 1 in the third. None in the natural expansion. Looks like there's 1 going down in the main base, but the Oracle's on their way over straight to that third base. Let's see, 2 queens there to defend, but that's not going to be enough to deal with this.
And look how fast those queens go down, absolutely evaporating to the Oracle firepower. 2 more queens come into play. 1 Oracle's getting hurt, but it's going to be micro.
Just barely getting taken down there.
The short range of the Oracle's really being punished there.
Nice transfuse on the queen there. But are there more queens in production? Yeah, 2 more queens in production. Hydra dead on the way, Spire on the way as well. And damage done, I mean, Dimaga lost a few queens, or maybe 1 queen?
2 queens.
2 queens, but no drones were touched that much. Like, the drones are going to be fine. Income tab, he's at 69 harvesters. 4 workers killed there for Shew, so I think Dimaga's going to be okay with that, considering how late he was able to identify that the oracles were actually on the playing field.
Great defense by Dimaga, great poise here. Gonna deal with this pylon, a nice little sneaky attempt by Shew there, trying to maybe think about knocking out this hatchery. Gonna get a couple roach kills for his troubles there. I don't think Dimaga's too worried about that by any means.
Yeah, I mean, losing a couple roaches, like most Zerg players at this point in the game would much rather lose a couple roaches than like a couple drones, to be completely honest. So let's see if he tries to turn it around here and try to do some aggression. He does have Hydra range on the way, so we'll have to see if he decides to make those Hydras in that production tab. Has speed on the way, might wait for that. Has +2 care base on the way as well, and 2 more Spore Crawlers, so really trying to lock down these additional expansions by giving them the necessary static D to deal with any potential Oracle harassment in the future. More drones going down here from Dimaga, up to 85, and now he's going to try to be aggressive with these roaches.
You know, these roaches is a pretty substantial investment from Dimaga, but Shew is fairly light on the units now. The nature of this map, though, it is a pretty tight choke. As long as Shew gets his sentries down there, I think one of the problem holding this off. One of the things he's done also is he's used Phoenixes to clear all the overworlds from the bottom left side of the map. So he's pretty much, you know, trying to make Dimaga in the dark about where any potential expansions could be.
Shew scared me a little bit, delaying those force fields, but he just wanted to trap a few of those roaches. So nice little defense there from Shew, going to enable him to get another Colossus out on the field. But we see 12 Corruptors in production here from Dimaga. It looks like he's going for the tried and true Roach Hydra Corruptor style at this point. He is incorporating some air upgrades, taking down this pylon at his potential 5th base. 4th is already on the ground, prioritizing those gases. I like the way Dimaga is playing this. We'll have to see if he tries to incorporate any of those Heart of the Swarm units, though.
We noticed in his show match against Pult, he really tried to stay away from these units. Perhaps lack of experience, or maybe he doesn't think they're very useful for the Zerg race. You know, you mentioned a tried and true Roach Hydra Corruptor. I don't know if I agree with the second part. I mean, it's been tried so many times, but I don't know how often it actually works against Protoss. Perhaps maybe with Vipers added on.
I mean, with the Hydra buffs, like, I guess it's better, but no, I agree with you. It was used in the early part of the StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty, and then it just went away because it wasn't doing its job. But with the Hydra buffs here and there, you know, maybe it could work. And seeing as how Dimaga's on 4, now going up to 6 bases, he has the economy to be able to trade units. He just don't throw units away. At least be a little bit cost efficient, and I'm kind of okay with this.
Uh-oh, Shew's moving out with only 140 food. He's got to get back up the ramp. This is Dimaga's chance to get a great engagement. But no, Shew gets back up the ramp just in time.
Militia Core, nice. Took down the Militia Core with the Corruptors there. And he's just going to keep going after the Colossus, just absorbing the damage from the Stalkers, finally deciding to back away. Of course, if the Colossus are taken out, then the Hydras are going to be that much better, because what deals the damage to the Hydras if there's no AoE, if there's no Colossus, if there's no High Templar? Sure, Stalkers can do a decent amount, but if you get enough Hydras, you kind of need those Colossus.
You really do. I mean, unless you can get your opponent to overcommit on Corruptors, and then your Stalkers can deal with you know, the few Hydras that are left. But I think Dimaga's balanced his Corruptor to ground ratio very well here, coming in for the attack.
Yeah, Dimaga charging into the natural expansion, taking out every single Colossus. Great little concave here from Shew, though. And Dimaga is going to be forced to back away. Is that the trade he wanted? Sure, he killed some Colossus, but he lost the majority of his Corruptors. At this point in time, Shew making another Immortal in that production tab. We have plus 3 weapons in production here from Shew, and I'm a little bit afraid for Dimaga here. He does have 2-2, but that's a lot of Blink Stalkers and Zealots.
And he put so much money into his Corruptors, the rest of his army looks so tiny in comparison. The Stalkers alone outnumber this, not to mention the 3 Immortals that are backing them up.
22 Roaches in production, though, or just popped. 28 Lings in production at this moment in time. I don't necessarily think Dimaga's going to die here. He just needs to make sure to keep rallying in units, keep on his creep, and yeah, Shew's not going to be comfortable enough, not convinced enough with an advantage to continue with that push. He's going to back up. He's going to secure a 4th base. Also placing a pylon at the bottom side of the map, and this is going to give Dimaga time to get some more units out on the field. However, these are lower tier units. We have Roaches, we have Lings, we don't have Infestors, we don't have a Greatest Spire on the way for Broodlords. So I could see a push from Shew when he gets max doing a lot of damage if Dimaga doesn't figure something out. It's something cost efficient to deal with this.
Shew's under really no obligation to push in the near future. I mean, look at the tech he has. He's got 3 upgrades on the way. He's got Templar now in his army, all with Storm available. He's got a handful of Immortals. He's got Void Rays and Colossi. This Void Ray Colossi composition used to be popular until Zerg started going fast Hive Tech. But Dimaga has just got his Hive up. He's got no Hive units at his disposal. And Colossi Void Ray is just absolutely dominant against any type of Lair Tech Zerg army.
Dimaga's he just placed the Baneling Nest on the ground, so we'll have to see how many Banelings he decides to incorporate into his composition. Maybe get Burrow, be a little bit fancy with some Burrowed Banelings. Of course, that's pretty much dependent on your opponent not having an Observer, so maybe a cute little snipe of Observer with Corruptors and Overseer, and then he goes into that type of play. But that being said, no Burrow in that production tab. So Dimaga looks like he wants to try to make something happen here with this Ling, Hydra, Roach, Corruptor, Infestor army. Only 3 Infestors here, though, so I'm a little bit scared for Dimaga. If Shew can control this properly, I think he has the units to be able to absolutely dismantle the Zerg army.
He absolutely does. Look at those Storms, the Colossi, the AoE combination. The Corruptors are getting massacred, and wow.
Gosh, that's...
Look, Shew's composition is just so powerful.
Dimaga, he's going to lose that Infestor. Yeah, there's the blink forward. Infestor getting taken down. 8 more Corruptors, 13 Roaches in the production tab here for Dimaga. Is that the right unit choice to deal with this, or does it even matter? Looks like Shew is going to turn around and engage. Has a nice concave here. Void Rays and Colossi doing terrible damage from above. Stalkers blinking forward, trying to prevent these Roaches and Hydras from retreating. Dimaga is maxed, but again, Lings, Roaches, Corruptors in that production tab, not the most cost-efficient units in the world. So we'll have to see if Dimaga can clean up this push, or if Shew can end this game right here, right now.
That Immortal Colossi Templar count is just Zerg walking into the meat grinder. Shew playing the role of the exterminator here, and I mean, wow. Dimaga is just getting absolutely wrecked.
Birthday boy is having a good day today, up 162 to 143 in supply, storming every single unit that even approaches him. All the Corruptors are depleted, 5 Hydras, 18 Roaches in that production tab, but they're all going to pop out of seemingly arbitrary hatcheries at this point. I mean, if they're not together, they're not going to be nearly as effective, but how do you get them together when Shew is on his side of the map, taking down his 3rd base, continually reinforcing with Stalkers across the map? Dimaga's going to have his hands full dealing with this army.
This is about the first time in the game Shew finally takes a supply lead, and that is usually a telltale sign of a Zerg in serious trouble, at least if they're going Roaches.
We got more and more Colossus and Void Rays joining this army, and I'm wondering what Dimaga has on his mind here. trying to get that unit composition just higher and higher, but again, the units are coming out of different hatcheries, so Shew can just take them out as they waddle on by, trying to get to their friends. Taking down the natural expansion, taking down plenty of drones, going straight into the main base. He's going to target down that infestation pit fairly soon. There we go. Targeted down. Dimaga's still on 4 bases. I'm trying to be an optimist here and think of a way he can come back here, but I just think Shew's unit composition is way too strong.
The point you made about Dimaga being on 4 bases is really neat. I mean, he had so many bases.
Yeah.
I think Shew realized this. Oh, engagement, Dimaga's last stand.
Yeah.
Look at those time warps, though. The Roaches and Hydras having a really tough time trying to get into that battle.
I can't even find the mothership core. I guess it died straight away after placing down those time warps. Stalker's trying to blink back, but it looks like Dimaga might be able to clean this up after all. But if we're talking about costs, let's see here. Income, 75 to 51. Shew way ahead. The main and natural gone. Dimaga's going to have to rebuild a bunch of stuff. His spawning pool is rebuilt, his spawning pool didn't die.
I think spawning pool is the only building Dimaga actually has.
So he can only make lings.
He can only make Zerglings.
Does he have a lair at the very least?
He has no lair. He lost the hive.
Boy.
He's got tons of gas, but you know what? It's hard to use gas with only a spawning pool.
Yeah. The lair is going to be the only thing that costs gas for him at this point in time, so going to be rebuilding that as fast as possible. Going to try to make something happen with this Ling Roach counterattack, but look at all these Sentries, High Templars, and Stalkers here waiting.
Zerglings take a poke up. Let's harass
like
this base.
10 cannons. I mean, the good news about this is there's a pylon there that you can take out.
That's true. It is kind of a single pylon, a little bit of a vulnerable spot. Hard to get at it, though, with that many cannons in front
you
of
can pull a Frodo Baggins, try to flank a couple Roaches here in the back.
Yeah, the Frodo Baggins trick.
Do something like that.
That's a good one. That's a very good one.
So Dimaga's going to try to make something happen here, but again, Shew is in such a good position, even starting some shield upgrades at this point. Plenty of Stalkers, Colossi, Void Rays, High Templars here, added on that Mothership core after it died. And Dimaga's just now finishing that layer, so he's going to have to pull off a miracle here, but I've seen crazier things happen. I don't know.
We've all seen Lelock games, right?
Yeah, but those involved infestors, which
that's true.
Dimaga doesn't have at this point.
They usually have.
He's got to make an infestation pit. I mean, he has 2,000 gas, so if he can start an infestation pit now, maybe he can make something happen.
Just as you say that, he knows.
All right.
It's like Protoss, win behind, go Dark Shrine. Yeah. Zerg, win behind, go Infestation Pit, although...
Always go Infestation Pit.
Yeah, probably should be always go Infestation Pit. That could be Dimaga's critical mistake
even in Heart
of
the Storm. But yeah, what's going to stop Shew from pushing? I'm not sure what. Maybe Dimaga can just say something in chat.
Yeah, distract him.
Dissuade him from pushing. I think that's the only
way. Or he
way.
can just sack bases, I mean...
Yeah, pull his drones away.
Looks like he's going for a flank, though.
A concave here.
Oh, to one side coming in a little bit too soon, though. Great force fields by Shew.
Storms going down onto the Zerg army. Great storms here from Shew. And even with the attempted surround, I don't think it's going to matter. Void Rays and Colossus, High Templar Storm tearing apart everything. Dimaga loses his entire force. The good news is his infestation pit is done. But I don't see any...
Bad news is there's no infestors being built.
In that production tab.
That's a critical part of the infestation pit. More roaches are not going to cut it. Although, I mean, I don't even know if infestors could cut it at this point. Oh, Shew on move command!
Oh, well...
That might have been it, actually.
Well, let's see.
You cannot make that mistake.
Dimaga can come up with here. I mean, the Roaches are going to be able to take on the ground army, but what does he have to deal with the Void Rays?
He's building more Roaches.
Yeah.
Roaches... Oh! Shew recalls out.
Oh.
A gift of charity saying, you know what, Dimaga?
I don't think there's anything to kill those.
Maybe Shew, you know what? The Stalkers would have died. It's like if you have the helicopter and you could shoot all the guys, or you could pick up and evac your guys on the ground. You know, the humane thing to do is pick up and evac
so he did that just to save the Stalkers then?
Yeah.
Well,
a little more of a humane. See, this is what separates the Protoss from the Zergs, right? We care about
a little bit of mercy.
Yeah. You know, one thing I want to point out that there's a little lull here is, remember when Shew crushed Dimaga's army and he could basically go around and kill some bases?
Yes.
Notice how he went for the natural in the main, even though there wasn't that many resources left there. But if you think about it, Dimaga had 6 bases. You could kill only 2 bases, he'd still be mining fine, right? You're not going to kill his economy very easily. But if you kill the main, like what Shew did, all of a sudden, he can't build anything, right? He's stuck in the Stone Age, and then you're guaranteed to win if there's just roaches left in the game, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, going after the main and the natural, you're going after their tech. You're essentially resetting the board for them. And, you know, now Dimaga is forced to rebuild a layer over here, an infestation pit over here. Spire is just now has been reintroduced to the playing field here. Going to be funneling an observer here, making some swarm hosts. We'll see if we can make those work.
So swarm hosts can actually be pretty good if you have a way to snipe observers, which, you know what's funny? You know what's like the best way to Zerg and snipe observers?
Corruptor Overseer? Oh.
You just double fungal it.
Okay.
And it's long range, right? It's like 10 range. Whereas Corruptors have to run into their army. I mean, Corruptors are great too, but like, so, I mean, the best way for Zerg to deal with
anything. Well, you have to
is
see the observer first.
Well, it's like Terrans, you can see the scan and kill. Zergs, if you know where it is, you can fungal that area.
Okay.
So if you can kind of see the shimmer, right?
Well, what if it's in the main army?
Oh, then you just fungal the main army anyway.
Okay.
So you automatically kill it.
But Colossus will just kill your infestors, won't they?
Yeah, maybe. That's a downside. The downside, if it's behind the main army, it's hard.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, but even Corruptors, it gets slaughtered trying to go into that many void
Maybe
rays.
try to distract some of the army.
Yes.
The Colossus to go a certain way.
Use Burrowed Infestor or something like that.
I think just sending a bunch of Corruptors, because that'll force the Colossi to kite back anyway. The observer will be in the front.
Yeah, that could work.
All right, Fungal's going down here from Dimaga, trying to hold off this push from Shew. Shew is just going to storm the ground where the swarm hosts are. Feedback's going down on the infestors as well. Hydras and Roach is going to be flanking from the top, but Shew remains at 184 supply. Warpers' speed in production. Dimaga down to 97. Goodbye infestors, goodbye Hydra, goodbye swarm hosts, and goodbye Dimaga from this game. At this point, 4 swarm hosts in production, but have to deal with a 192 food. Shew here is going to be a task. There it is.
Flip-flop with the victory screen.
AKA Shew.
That's right.
Perhaps,
I just feel like saying flip-flop.
Perhaps his favorite type of shoe is a flip-flop.
Could be.
Could be. Nice little victory animation and music there that we got to experience again. Always love seeing that. Not because I'm a Pro Dust player, because Heart of the Storm is awesome and Blizzard is awesome for incorporating that stuff.
Could be both.
It's the end of the game. Yeah, maybe a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, but congratulations to Shew. Again, Clarity Shew, able to take down Dimaga in game number 1 of this King of the Hill. You're watching Heart of the Swarm exhibitions here from the MLG Studios in New York City. I'm axeltoss. He's axslav. We'll be back with game 2 of this King of the Hill. Don't go anywhere.